Hey everyone, welcome back to Aquatics. Today is a 6-month update on the tank that I released in a previous video last week. It's taken 6 months of long hard work to get here, but I've been really excited to do an update video to show you how the tank's evolved over time from when it was originally planted. So this was literally the first cube tank that I tried to aquascape. So I was a complete beginner. Everything I was doing, I was learning at the time from reading articles, watching YouTube videos from different, experts that I'd like to call them, because to me they are experts. To me, they put in the groundwork, and the stuff that they've achieved is amazing. So I tried putting that into this own tank. I realize right now this is completely overgrown, and it does need to be managed a bit better. I am hoping to chop all this down a bit, give it a good trim, but I'm keeping that for a later video because this tank is going to be moved at some point, and that will be in a future video update. So it's been 6 months. I'm going to run through the plants first and then the inhabitants that are now living inside this tank. So it's a 30-litre aquarium cube. I think I got it from Amazon. It was called like the Artist Neo or Zen tank or something. It runs a double sponge filter with 2 small canisters on the bottom that hold like your filter media, and there's a heater, 25-watt heater, just behind that piece of wood. Originally when I started this out, I didn't use CO2, partly because I was a little bit afraid about using it because I didn't really know much about it, and now that I do use CO2, I'm really not utilizing like a full canister job. This is more a case of I have the small like starter packs, which is like a small tube that you enter in the tank, and you have a gas canister, well, or a gas can in my case, outside of the tank, and then I moderate those with a drop checker. In terms of plants then, originally I had Java moss, which is still there. I did have Rotala yaoyai. That really did not take to the tank at all. Did read that was quite difficult without CO2, so maybe that was the case. The Echinodrus is there on the right. That's huge now. That just keeps growing like wildfire. I've moved that into many of my other tanks because of how fast growing that is. The Eliocharis, there is some left at the bottom there, but I've removed a lot of it because it was growing and it was spreading, but really not at the rate that I'd like it. And again, when reading online, CO2 seems to be the issue there. And then obviously you've got the big Alternanthera red that was planted originally when it was teeny tiny, and now it's huge. Both of those, the Alternanthera and the Echinodrus, have been the easiest to grow in this tank. The Java moss is Java moss, so it's going to grow no matter what. Additions later on, because it was looking a little bit bare, I added the Java fern there on the left. There is a Ludwigia red behind it. There's also behind on the right a Rotala Bangladesh, I think. That's had some really good growth, and I'm constantly trimming that down because it's always hitting the waterline. And there is an Anubias right at the back, Anubias nangi, very small, that's taking growth at the back. There's also obviously Java moss ball as well that's in there with them. Since adding the CO2, I've noticed a much more, I would say, vibrant green in the tank. The Alternanthera, to be fair, has always been that sort of pinky reddish colour, and I've been quite impressed that I had a red kind of, I know it's a red plant anyway, but the fact that it stayed red during its initial stages without CO2, I was quite impressed with it. In terms of fish then, originally this tank started out with 4 Celestial Pearl Danios. They've now been moved into another tank, which I'll feature in another video coming up very shortly. This tank is now dedicated, however, to these red cherry shrimp. I had 10 of these ordered online through somebody called Max Shrimp. They're on eBay. I'll link them in the description below. They were shipped the very next day. They arrived on my doorstep about 10 o'clock in the morning, and they all survived the travel, which was brilliant. That was during the summer months. They were still heat packed, which was great. But yeah, it was during the summer months when obviously travel is a little bit better. Made sure obviously the tank had cycled. There was a bit of biofilm growing, something for them to snack on. Once arrived, I drip acclimated them over the space of 2 to 3 hours, just to give them that time to settle in and adjust to the water parameters. And I was really lucky actually that all 10 survived the trip and they survived their time in the tank. They did really well. I'd say I've maybe lost a few, 2 or 3, either just, I think, due to bad malts by the look of their corpses when they've been found. However, since then, I'm now on my 3rd batch of shrimp fry, which is nice. Are they shrimp fry, shrimp babies? I don't know. But yeah, I'm now on my 3rd batch, which is great. They do keep spawning in this aquarium, and they obviously feel safe to do so. I know red cherry shrimp are quite easy to breed anyway, but it's nice to know that I have stable water parameters and that they feel that they can do that and survive in this tank. I feed these guys on a range of different products that I'm going to make a separate video about, from a really great YouTuber called Mark Shrimp Tanks. Hopefully you've heard of him. If you haven't, you definitely need to check him out, so I'll do a video update on that very soon. So this was just a 6-month update on the first cube tank. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you are new here, I will try and upload twice a week if I can, and I'll see you in the next one.